all good. What is Castiel's role now, and, you know, as the focus shifts?
Everyone's like, yeah, Castiel should have a role. Good. He hasn't up until now. Great idea. Writers. Mull that one over. That's food for thought. People like it. No. They would just like him to have a purpose. Castiel, I think he's kind of on cleanup detail at this point in heaven. Still don't quite know. I'm looking down the table for that. Don't talk about that look, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. What little I know is that Sarah, I think, put it very nicely. She said that that heaven was like post-Soviet Russia, just to make it boring. And you know, the government has collapsed. The leadership is in disarray. There are nukes that are falling into the wrong hands, and this upsets Castiel, and he's trying to coalesce. He's trying to form sort of a coalition that's actually going to function up there. So, what does that make him? Yeltsin? An aspiring Yeltsin? And I think we talked about...
Much more about the show.
Yeah.
Really selling information.
Yeah. And we haven't talked about this yet, but I just wanted to pitch to you the idea of him actually having a Russian accent.
We probably need to hear a little bit just to...
No, please, I don't. This is what you will hear, no Castiel. Okay? Who are you?
Now, Jim, which is going to happen first? Is Bobby going to find a girlfriend, or is he going to get his soul back to Crowley?
The way this show works, hell will probably freeze over before Bobby gets a girlfriend.
This is supernatural. It's very possible.
Yeah. Well, as you saw from the teaser, who directed that? It was, Bobby and Crowley are going to have their confrontation, and whether I can pretty much assure you that the kissing days between Bobby and Crowley are over.
Yeah, I was going to say, how can you assure that?
I can assure that because you need me to film them. Of course, you know, they could probably use the outtakes from last season. Phil shot that thing and shot that and shot it.
You kept on asking for another, so I...
No, I was asking for another person to kiss.
And Ben, you're famous for your dark and twisted episodes. Is there something insanely creepy that we can look forward to?
Insanely creepy. I think I'm on the...
Or just insane.
Yeah, I think I'm working on the insane thing.
Yeah, tell them about it. Just a little.
I can tell about the... Okay, let's see how we're... Alright, I'm working on something. We got one coming along. It's going to have some of the fairy in it. I think that's going to be cool. But that's not creepy. That's just fairy. But I do think that we're going to be walking a very careful tightrope, and I mean this in the most sincerity I can muster. We have to be very careful. Little people will be involved. And so everyone on pins and needles until we get our defamation suit out of the way. I'm looking forward to, I see a moment where perhaps the boys have to fight a tiny pinprick of light that ultimately is Tinkerbell. I think that's really awesome. I see a Jensen and a little light coming toward him, and he just says, "It's so beautiful." And I think Rich in absurdity, I promise. Ask for more in a few minutes.
And Sarah, women don't seem to hang around very long on Supernatural. Will that change on your watch? And are there any plans for new or old female characters this season?
I've been here since episode 1. I'm female. We have a couple of female characters who have survived so far this season.
I'm so great.
And that's really all you can say for characters of either gender on this show. Yeah, I don't think we've had a character on this show who has lived, period. So, we have a couple of, there's a female character we're introducing who is a relative of Sammy Dean's, a Campbell, and Lisa Braden is returning. And, well, there's a couple cheers. And those are the ones apart. But, not to really delineate it by gender, we pretty much, you're kind of dead meat on Supernatural. It's kind of like, if you're Austin, we bring you back from the dead a few times.
We're actually telling you that death doesn't exist. I think you should appreciate this as a public service announcement. Congratulations! Good news, everybody! Bring back
Jerry Springer show? Just yelling crap out?
And for Sarah and Eric, I've heard about the Japanese Supernatural anime project. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, it's actually not. Good news, everybody! They're not selling it here. So, I guess Warner Brothers or the powers that be or your congressman, and asked Nate Demand, the Supernatural animation. All I know is that I can't believe it's just super, super cool, and that they're making episodes of the show that we don't have to work on, and I think that's the thing that we're most happy about. And it's because it's animated, it gets to have all sorts of crazy.
Shit with tentacles.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just want tentacles in it, and stuff that we can't do on live action on the show.
That's been the major limitation on Supernatural.
Not enough tentacle. Have you tried to do live action tentacles? They suck, man. Totally shitty. And then these two guys are doing voices for a couple of the episodes.
Which is going to be interesting because my Japanese is horrible.
Jim's is good. But that's what we know about it. We know that there's going to be, we'll have a writer screening and we'll get wasted and watch it. But in terms of getting it released to the public, I think it's up to you guys to demand it. So.
And let's get physical for a second. Was the prophet Chuck really God? Because if so, that means God attended a Supernatural fan convention, which is pretty cool.
I'll field that one. We're not going to give an answer. It's completely open to interpretation. We very, very intentionally did not want a character to come out at the end to say, and that's because I'm God. Because we thought, you wanted it to be, yes, douchey of, it's like M. Night douchey of a level. I'll say this though, because people say to me but if Chuck was God, and we're not saying whether he was or not, then that means the writer is God, and isn't that the definition of M. Night douchey? And my response is, I'm like, yeah, but if he is God, this God's banging whores. So that kind of takes the curse off. Is that what you take the curse off stuff? Or puts the curse on it? That puts the curse on it. But anyway, it's open for people to debate amongst themselves, and we have our own privately held beliefs, obviously.